and we're gonna go live.
Cool. Bobby, Johnny, got a
Chase.
I've got some beef. Actually, you know what? Beef is the wrong word for this. I've got
A bone to pick?
I've got a bone to pick. No, you know what? That's a bad phrase too for this particular thing. I've got a pet peeve. There you go. Nobody can have a problem with pet peeve here. Somebody used the phrase chicken tendies, and I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Was it a millennial male?
No, this would have been a millennial female.
But millennial.
But millennial, yes.
And for anybody listening, before you get offended by me calling out one of those stupid terms, I'm a fucking millennial.
I'm also a millennial.
As am I.
We can talk about this.
At least we're not fucking Zoomers, right?
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
no shit.
Yeah, Generation War.
God.
Let's get back to the greatest generation. That's when men were men.
It was a situation, and again, I don't have a lot. Like, tendies, I would rather... I like chicken nugs better than chicken tendies.
I'll say nugs all day.
But
tendies is
some delicious nugs.
If there was a Venn diagram here, Chase, I would bet that there's an overlap somewhere on that of tendies and doggos.
Oh. Yeah, I don't love doggos either.
None of us look. We don't have anything
I say doggos.
I mean, I'm sorry.
I'm not proud of it.
I want to clarify. I like dogs. I do not like the term doggos.
And again, Johnny, it's not your fault. You're a millennial. You're a millennial male.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of it. It's just it is what it is. You
can't... I killed chain restaurants, and now I'm killing the English language with my bastardization of it.
I ironically say, and when I ironically say it, it's only to me. It's not in front of anybody else, but I do enjoy saying hot dorgs. I think that one's fun. Again, that is like a...
I mean, any distortion of a word like that can be fun. It's just...
I have no idea where it's from, Bobby. Do you know where hot dorgs comes from?
I don't know if it's... I think it's just one of those, like, oh my god, like when that Burks girl, when all that...
I'm not...
Like early memes.
Something, speaking of, well, I guess technically he's not a Zoomer. He's Gen Alpha. But...
Wait, is that what they're fucking calling it?
I think so.
No. I'm in marketing.
The last thing your son needs is to think that he's an alpha of any type.
Oh, he doesn't. Believe me. But I don't know where he heard it, but he started saying, instead of baby girl, he says Baba Grill. And Misty and I started saying it back to him to make fun of him. And now it's kind of like whenever Breaking Bad was on and we started saying yo, like ironically, and then it just became a part of the lexicon. So we only say it to him or when like to each other. It lives within the Amazich house.
Have you or has YouTube raised your son?
Yes.
The answer to both questions is yes. I mean,
he hasn't had YouTube for years. You asked me this.
So my
all
question
the time.
is,
you say that, and yet I was watching a Destiny YouTuber today because that's what I spend my time on. I watch people play Destiny more than I play Destiny myself. And someone specifically used the phrase Dogwater, and I was like, come on, man, you're ruining the youth of this generation. Yeah. And I know because I can point to a youth of this generation in your son.
Yeah, he doesn't have
phrase.
He doesn't have YouTube, but
and I didn't have the passcode to my.
Well, I mean, his friends have YouTube for sure.
His friends, and
they're probably saying this shit.
If you just be quiet and let the person that actually has a child knows what their child does speak, Bobby.
Wow. Feeling a lot of tension right now.
Well, dude, all this stuff is locked down. Like I see all of his search history. Like he has his own profile in Chrome on my computer. I get alerts whenever he like looks for stuff. Believe it or not, we are much savvier than our parents were and are able to like monitor our kids.
I totally believe all this.
This is an interesting question.
He still cannot control his friends.
But yes, his friends, also some of his favorite YouTubers have podcasts they put on Spotify.
Okay.
And so he listens to those a lot.
I was just curious. Like I feel like every time we talk, Jude is saying something that like literally is like an ad that rolls before any video I watch on the internet, specifically on YouTube.
Yeah,
And
he has his friends that have YouTube, and they talk on Fortnite, and he,
so
it's
he
all
doesn't-
osmosis.
It's not. He's not a smoker. He just hangs out with his aunt and uncle who are secondhand smokers.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get any of the effects of it.
He's secondhand Dogwater.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And I'm glad we have a podcast title
Yeah,
early.
I don't know how, because my brother's kids are in the same boat. Like they are trying to monitor all those things. There's a kid in my brother's neighborhood now that absolutely has free reign on any type of game, any type of activity. And so Arlo is asking a lot of questions or like even seeing things. And it just feels like these Trojan horses into any sort of parenting where it's like, this is a good friend. This is a good thing that comes with children having those. But then all of a sudden it's this and that. And by the way, like I don't have to have a kid to understand the dynamics of how kids are influenced. Let's just put that out there really quick. I'm a human.
Sure.
I'm capable of understanding on a very, very real level how fucking things work. You don't have to have something to understand how it works. That's a pretty big misconception.
we're all in our 30s. I don't know. Bobby might be 40 at this point.
No.
He's so old. Look at the gray in that beard. That man is ancient.
That's what 10 years of retail will do to me.
Yeah.
Bobby's actually 15 years old, but he's worked at Apple for 10 years.
Yes.
So what can you do? But I mean, we certainly had our phrases that we would say that our parents didn't understand, and I feel like I don't want to be old man who's yelling at cloud. Also, that would be a reference that the Zoomers, I'm sure, would roast me for at this point.
They like Final Fantasy. It's okay.
So, okay, good one. I appreciate that. I still don't understand. I mean, I understand cap and no cap. I just don't like it. I think it's stupid. Oh, have you not heard this one, Johnny? Has this not made it into the Amazich household?
I've seen it, but I just don't know what it means.
Okay. We're gonna do a little.
No,
we're gonna do a little.
We're not. No.
I can just go on Urban Dictionary.
This one's quick. I think I have uncovered the thing of this. I have not looked it up, but I think I have reverse engenered it. So
can we talk about video games?
We'll get there. Hey, no cap.
See, you pulled open, made me yell at Bobby, made me lose my temper.
Nobody did that. You did it yourself.
So cap means to like you're lying, you're fibbing, you're not saying the truth. Okay. So when you say no cap, that means like you're being honest.
But you could just say no lie.
You could say that, but you won't because you're a kid and you got to say no cap. I think what it is like for like the gold teeth, like you're putting caps on your teeth. So it's like, oh, I have a fake tooth. This is a cap. So when they're saying no cap, they mean these teeth are real.
I hate this.
Okay.
This grill is for real. I'm not no cap there. These aren't caps. These are real teeth.
Let me see your grill. That's what I would say to that.
I'm pretty sure it comes from our current rap culture. Anyway, I hear people say cap all the fucking time, especially on YouTube. So look forward to that one, Johnny. That's coming.
Great.
Yeah.
He doesn't have YouTube, Chase.
He doesn't.
No, but his friends have YouTube. His friends
have YouTube.
No cap will tell him.
Oh God.
About cap.
I'm about to.
This podcast is Dogwater.
What is this podcast? What is this Dogwater podcast, Bobby?
This fucking podcast is freer than a public restroom. I'm Bobby. I'm hosting this week. Johnny and Chase are here, and we've got my favorite.
You're hosting this? You host every week.
I'm actually taking over.
He's all out of sorts.
Wait, Johnny, you said your son listens to podcasts?
Mm-hmm.
Of his favorite YouTubers?
Yes.
Does he listen to our podcast? Are we his favorite YouTubers?
He's not allowed.
We're not on
YouTube day one, but we get on YouTube.
We get on YouTube.
Yeah.
We are not allowed to be day one YouTubers.
He has said
I'm a day one YouTuber. I've got Chase K Plays. You can check me out. No cap.
Ugh,
God damn it.
I gotta go.
We're going to talk about video games tonight, specifically the ones that are coming out in the month of August, which is going to be really good. We've also got to talk about July. And we
got to talk about July.
We got to talk about July. But we've also got some other things that we need to talk about. And I think, Chase, based off of our note here, you should probably go first.
Okay, based on the note, not based on literally every other podcast where I've gone.
We're going to follow it by the books.
Okay, all right. For this one time, I'll go first.
Thank you.
I've been playing a little game called Into the Breach, Advanced Edition. I may have mentioned this somewhere before, but it's one of the best games of all time.
Just got upgraded to a 10 on GameSpot.
Like, finally, people are realizing
with some respect
how perfect this game is. I mean, what did it get upped from, Johnny?
A 9.
It was probably like a 5 or a 7. Oh, and a 9. Okay, so they already knew it was great.
Yeah.
It still has not been adjusted on our scale.
I mean, we probably could retroactively go back into 2018's Casual Game of the Year, and we could.
Oh, when Monster Hunter World won?
Yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah, I mean, nobody plays Monster Hunter World anymore. Nobody cares about that game. It's not even the Monster Hunter game you guys like anymore.
I still love Monster Hunter.
That game's Dogwater at this point. I mean, we should just put Into the Breach up there. No cap.
All right, I'll put Into the Breach as our number one game if you never play another Super Robot Wars.
Chase.
If I would never what?
If you never play another Super Robot Wars, you can only play Into the Breach.
I mean, they probably won't make one for like another 5 years.
No. You can't play any of them.
I mean, I've played all the translated ones. Well, I guess there are fan translated ones I could play. But
it's up to you. I'll happily make that switch.
I guess I'll let history remain, and you can look at your shame of where you put Into the Breach before you got wise. Anyway, we've shown off Into the Breach many times. There's a quick look out there right now that we did that you can go look at some of the new Advanced Edition stuff. Well, tomorrow. Friday, if somebody's listening to the archive, then it's already.
Yes.
So great save them. But anybody, even the people who are watching us live right now, they can go check out our Monday stream of Into the Breach Advanced Edition, where Bobby and I did a pretty solid start to a run that I think we're going to continue next week.
Yeah, we knocked out 2 islands, and we're sitting at full power. Got some nice upgrades. Yeah,
game's fucking good. It's just really good. Bobby, you said you've been playing it a little bit on the phone or the iPad, right?
I've checked it out there. Honestly, I've been playing it on my Steam Deck and playing it there, which the only reason I'm not playing it on my other devices is that I have everything that I would need, like from squads and whatnot, already there on Steam.
But it plays well on
it plays
mobile.
Plays great. And I think the iPad is probably, like, if I had to tell, I think that might be like my favorite place to play it. I think it just works really well in that format. Yeah, but they'll never do this, but I wish that they had their own server. Like,
sure,
just you log in, here's your shit. Yeah. It won't.
I mean, I have that same issue with the Steam version versus my Switch version. I've certainly put more time into the Switch version, but before it came out to Switch, I was playing that game on Steam because I needed to play that game.
Yeah.
And it was on Mac, so I could do that. Into the Breach, still really good. The Advanced Edition DLC, I think, it's a free update, by the way. It's a fantastic addition. It makes it feel incredibly fresh, but also feels extremely familiar, and that's perfect. That's what I want. Also, I've been playing a little game called Symphony of War.
Never heard of it.
No, it's a new game that I'm bringing to the show. I'm glad it can finally get a little bit of recognition here, where it hasn't before. No, Bobby's talked about this on the show before. He's talked about it to me. We've done a quick look of it. I've been very intrigued It just wasn't on a platform I had, and now I got one of them Steam Decks, so I can play it. So I've been playing a decent amount of Symphony of War. I'm on chapter 10. Maybe I'm past chapter 10, but around chapter 10.
You're moving pretty quick.
Playing decent. Yeah, and I think it's good. I have an issue.
That's one of the most condescending goods I have heard.
I mean, it's a Fire Emblem style game, so I'm already going to like it. But I'm also going to judge it very harshly because that is my favorite genre of game.
Fair.
And there are many other games in that genre that I really, really love. So I have a high bar.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I think it's clearing it. I really like the combat animations. I generally like the micromanaging that goes into making the different squads, that a single unit on the screen isn't just one character. It's a group of characters that you can customize any way you want. I think the story is okay. The writing is fine. It's solid, and it plays pretty well on the Steam Deck. There's a couple graphical glitches where it'll like
resolution gets all like distorted.
Resolution has sometimes you need to resize the screen or go into like windowed and then back to full screen to make it look okay. One time it got really blurry on me. I think is what you were talking about, Johnny. That happened to me, and I had to just restart the game, and it worked okay. But I think it looks a little bit ugly in everything that's not the combat animations. The combat animations, again, look great, but I think the character portraits look kind of bad. I think the general map design looks kind of bad. Yeah, it just doesn't. I don't know. It's not that it looks cheap. It just.
I saw someone in the Steam reviews say the same thing. Like they're like, I really like this game, but
yeah,
what's up with them character portraits?
Yeah, they're not great.
And I mean, a small studio, like
sure,
they're. Who knows what sort of if someone there made all those or if they had to like hire someone to make that for them.
Yeah, totally could be. Again, I think the combat animations and those character designs look great.
Yeah.
When they're in that screen. I also just don't think the maps look all that great, and the characters may be a little too tiny. Maybe this is me just playing on a Steam Deck and they're just naturally tiny, but the units feel a little too small on the actual map where you're moving them around, where it gets like it's hard sometimes to understand. Oh, is there a little bit of red on that cavalry unit? Okay, that must be an enemy. Versus, there's the little blue, that must be mine. And then there's green units who are kind of a third faction that you don't control. And sometimes it's just hard to know. Okay, whoa, 6 new units lined up here. Who are they for? Are they mine? I'm not sure. But my real problem goes back to that micromanaging, in that while I like the ability to tinker, I think they don't do a great job of getting you up to speed on why you'd want to use any of these kinds of units versus a different kind of unit. So I can understand why I'd want to use an archer versus why I'd want to use a guy with a sword. That makes sense. Archers can attack from further away. They can attack without getting counterattacked. Great, no problem there. Sword guys, they get up close and personal. But then you also have a bunch of different melee people. You have a bunch of different kinds of cavalry units. You have a bunch of different kinds of ranged units. And they will give you a small description when you're over somebody's class, where it'll say, okay, this guy's a crossbow guy. He does more damage to heavily armored foes than a regular archer would. Okay, that also makes sense. But knowing... It's hard to balance all of these things together, especially when you can mix the units together in a single squad. So I can have a squad that is 3 archers, a dragon, and 2 cavalry units. And what is that squad good against? I don't really know. What is that squad bad against? I don't really know. Because there's so many kinds of units in there, it all just kind of gets like mixed up, and I am really just kind of rolling the dice every time I throw one of my units at the enemy to just go, I don't know, I think these guys are pretty strong, so they'll probably be able to tank whatever these hits are. And they generally do. I don't feel like I'm being really strategic in the way where I play a Fire Emblem and I understand like a weapon triangle and go, okay, this guy is the one I need to place in this spot because he's going to defend best against the enemy's attack. Now it's kind of just, I think this is my tankiest unit, so I'm just going to put them up front and hope for the best that they can handle whatever comes at them. I mean, you've been playing more of this game than I have, and I think you're a little bit more accustomed to what it's doing. Do you have any tips, or do you have any similar issues to what I've been dealing with?
So in the game, there's a tutorial guide that you can pull up for like multiple things, and I think that for anybody listening, that's a really great place to start. Even if it doesn't like clearly spell things out, it gives you a pretty good understanding of like how your squad formation could be, because it does change things like movement and all that other stuff depending on like how you outfit it. But I've tried to have some synergies on certain abilities where like turn order would be a thing or range would be a thing. Like I try to give everybody a healer. I try to give everybody some sort of like ability to do range. Whether that would be a mage or an archer, a dragon rider, one of those things. But I also just kind of build them in a way that, you know, and traditionally when I play games like this, I min-max the shit out of it. Like I read, okay, what's the meta? What do I do here? And this one, I've just been building out squads that, like, to me, visually make sense on a formation level or protect, like, the fail-safes of it. So, like, if I build a squad, because that's the whole thing about it, is that these units can be built around any of the leaders that you find. They're either recruit or they're in your party. So if I have somebody who's more of a swordsmith, like I know that they're kind of a glass cannon in comparison to some of these other tanky ones. So I'll do more of a front load of a defensive unit, and then I might have some sort of like movement increase, because that's the other piece too, is like if I have somebody who does really good damage that I want to be able to have move further or have like that ambush attack boost that comes with it, like I might try and have them fall more into a cavalry group even if they're not on a horse. Like I do shit like that just to try and make sense of like movement, defense, and attack boost that I can get. But I think for you, where you're coming from a very formula driven rock paper scissors, like you're not going to quite get that here.
Yeah, it's there are like 10 rocks, 10 papers, and 10 scissors, and they all kind of interact with each other in different ways. You're right that it does have a very lengthy kind of codex style tutorial where you can go through and look at all of those things, but there is so much of that it's overwhelming to the point of I'm not going to read all that.
No, that's not how I want to be
onboarded.
onboarded. Like that's not how with anything. Like I don't want it to be like, okay, here's everything that you need to know. It's all here, read through it, versus we're gonna give you like an overview and then you can reference this if you need to. I don't think I've ran into as many hiccups with that as you have.
Probably not. And again, I'm still liking the game, and it's been easy enough so far. I'm not playing this on any super hard difficulty or anything. That I'm mostly just getting through it based on having more units than the enemy. And also, I'm kind of playing it from a Fire Emblem perspective of I don't want any characters to die, but there isn't permadeath in this game. So if you do lose a unit, it's really not the end of the world. It's okay to throw somebody at an enemy knowing that they're going to get sacrificed on the next turn. But all that in mind, it's making me think, like, wow, this is a lot like Fire Emblem, but it's not quite Fire Emblem, and it kind of just makes me want to play a Fire Emblem game, of which there are many that I still have not played. I'm still liking it though. I'm getting through it. I like playing it on the deck, and it feels pretty good there. So I'm gonna keep chipping away at it, but it's an interesting one.
Nice, man. Chase talked about Into the Breach and Symphony of War, two very good video games. You should check both of those out wherever you can. Speaking of good video games, I have been firing up No Man's Sky. I have moved my save, thanks to Johnny's help, over to Steam from the Game Pass version, so I could take advantage of the Steam Deck. There is a really great controller profile. You can download. Right, it actually does it on its own for this game on the Steam
Yeah,
Deck. Works
it
great.
works seamlessly.
Yep, it's fantastic. But they just had a really big endurance update that if you're looking at this from afar, you might confuse it for a lot of the Star Trek Enterprise kind of fleet commanding. They've given the freighters some love, and they've added in some more cosmetics for your base building from one of the Outlaw updates. They continually put out great stuff for it, and the game continually feels more and more realized and more polished. We've streamed this game a lot. We've talked about this game and its triumphs quite a bit, but this is a really cool update. The freighters are one part of the game that I have not spent a lot of time with, and unfortunately, there was a point around, well, I guess like 2 years ago now, maybe a little bit longer, they brought the Normandy in as a freighter that you could get, and I really wish I would have done that. All that to be said, there is still a pretty remarkable feeling of the traversal of that game. Being able to fly in these systems and then land on a new planet seamlessly and then take off, like, that is really, really cool.
Is that how you've been spending your time? Is just exploring?
Yeah, I just like to planet hop right now. And I've got a really nice fighter plane. I had landed on a planet that was incredibly hostile with sentinels that I was not aware of, and I was mining some resources, and I had about a dozen come at me.
Oh no!
And I got in my ship and was able to shoot them, and then all of a sudden, my pulse drive got shut down because the Sentinel fighter ships got warped into my location. I had 6 of them. Went up into the atmosphere and had one of the coolest fucking dogfights with these Sentinel ships, and it did the Grand Theft Auto thing where as I was killing them, my Sentinel level was going up, and it got to a point because I just kept killing these ships. They brought their own freighter in, and this freighter had probably like 24 laser cannons on it, and like all these ships are coming out, and like I'm just trying to like take off so I could clear out some of the Sentinels that were coming after me. I would be able to go, and then they would disable my pulse drive. I did this for like 25 minutes, and all of this was happening after I came off of this massive planet that was right next to a space station. And in the midst of all this, like, you've got these incredible skyboxes of this planet that I just went to for the first time, this space station over here, and my freighter in the distance, this freighter here, and just crossfire happening, and I'm zipping around. It was really something, and I have not done that in all the years that this game's been out. I haven't had anything like that, and it was really, really cool.
Nice. Like, when you say skyboxes, though, like it's not. The thing is, it's not a skybox. Like you came from that planet. You could go back down to that planet. It's
that planet over there.
Yeah. So,
like, I know, like, Bungie is really great at making skyboxes, but the idea is that you don't go to those places. They're just like paintings up in the sky. But like that's maybe the coolest thing about No Man's Sky to me, is that it looks amazing when you're playing it, but then you really can just zoom in and go to any of those pretty looking things on the horizon.
Yeah. And I found some really cool planets. The game's just fucking cool, man. Like, it's
I think I've asked this before, but what happened to do they still have the story in there?
Yeah.
What was that? The Atlas thing?
Yeah. That's the main story still.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've sprinkled in all this other stuff for you to occupy your time with.
Sure. But it feels like when you're encouraged to build your own base and find a home planet, that kind of is antithetical to going on a journey to find the center of the universe, because
really
that should
more
just
about
be like
bases,
planet hopping where you are.
Because anytime you go to a space station now, there's a portal gate, and you walk up to it, and it lists all your properties, and so you can bounce around really easily. And I think the freighter really solves that problem, because you can essentially build on a freighter now. And you can like build out your base on this freighter. Now you have this massive ship, and then you can have multiple of your ships. You can have a whole crew that you're over, and they can be doing their shit now. And you can just take your freighter to all these jumps and then hop out, go explore in your ship, get into some dogfights, if you want, like, I'm gonna have a fighter ship, and the next thing I'm gonna do is like a hauler, and I'm probably gonna get really into like hauling materials and trying to do that trade
Yeah.
route stuff.
So you could have a base in a system that you know is really resource rich,
Yeah,
that you want to be able to get back to easily, rather than having to like hop star to star, just warp there immediately.
that's
When
the
you
plan.
say you have like a crew on this freighter, are you actually recruiting NPCs to? Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can, like, so anytime in the past it'd be like, hey, this person has showed up, they have a ship, you could talk to them and buy their ship and maybe learn some language, but now you can recruit them. And so you can have different alien races and all that stuff be part of your crew, and it's really that aspect of it is something that like that's quite honestly what I'm chasing. Like, I want to have that whole freighter life going. I want to go out and do shit. And like, you can have crews that are rated higher in combat, higher in exploration. They have the letter ranking C all the way up to S. Like, there's a lot of stuff. It's very dense and it's really cool.
You find an NPC that you like, you knock them out, and then you attach a Fulton to them, and then they get taken up to your
okay.
freighter.
All right, now we're talking.
So No Man's Sky continues to be good, and I felt like I was able to convey a lot of my sentiment for Stray last week. I have beaten Stray, and that is a very good video game that has left quite the impression on me after completing it. And
You got a quick look at that one too, right?
we do that. Quick look is up. That is up. You can check that out. I clocked in around 4 hours and like 30 to 50 minutes for my time, and I was at 77% complete. Found most of the memories that you can collect in the game. Once you beat the game, you can go back and replay levels and get the rest of that. Man, that game walks a very tight rope between despair and optimism, and I think if you would have been doing that as anything but a cat, that game would probably kind of just really bum you out. And not that it doesn't, but it touches on some things. And I was trying to figure out when this game was started, and I believe the game's development had begun in 2016, which is also kind of interesting from events that took place that year that maybe influence some of the outcomes of things that you see that it's addressing. But it's a beautiful game. I've listened to the soundtrack while I've been at work every day this week, and just it's just really fucking good. I can't say enough good things about Stray. Completely blew out my expectations 100%. But speaking of good things, literally, it's a very genuine, honest, or true. That word might be Dinkum, which is a game that just hit early access. And
is that another phrase that the Gen Alphas are saying?
That is an Australian phrase, I believe. And yes, It's an informal Australian word used to describe something that is genuine, honest, and true. And Dinkum has been, I think that's how you pronounce it, has been,
I don't know how else you would,
blowing up the charts over on Steam.
Australians pronounce things weird, man.
They do. Dinkum. This is, at times, in my opinion, a very unapologetic ripoff of
Go ahead, finish your sentence.
Animal Crossing.
I've been sitting here watching the gameplay loop and looking at the GIFs and stuff on this page, and this person made an Animal Crossing.
Now, Bobby, when I hear ripoff, that usually speaks to kind of a low quality thing. Is that how you feel about Dinkum, or is it actually?
Would homage be a better?
Right, of course. When something's good, it's just an homage. When it's bad, oh, what a ripoff! Right.
I like this game. I don't know how much I like the art style of this game, but I like everything else about it. There was a very great polish, and one of the things I called out about our time playing Animal Crossing was just the attention to detail on like how the branding that they created within some of the things with like the airport and all that, like it all was just so good. It is more of an homage. I'm not saying that this is a bad game. What I'm saying is that this is literally Animal Crossing New Horizons meets Stardew Valley. Like, it is that game. And what I mean
So
by
made
that
by
is
one person, apparently.
when you start this game up, you are given a tent and you place that tent, and then you have to go and build a campsite. And you have somebody
Okay.
who's visiting there, and you have to convince that person to stay and open up a shop there because you're getting away from all the bad stuff happening in the world. But it takes all of those things that you would like from Animal Crossing, and then it gives you the RPG elements of Stardew Valley. And what I mean by that is at the end of each day, you have to go to bed. And when you do so, you are going to see a progress bar that fills up for foraging, for fishing, for combat, and you're going to get levels that go up with it. But it also does the whole thing like, hey, the town's in debt because we're doing this. Like, hey, you want to build this here, you need to submit all the resources and stuff yourself and then pay it off, and then like that person will move their shop here. I do believe it's a procedurally generated map. Like, so I don't think it's the same for everybody. And I know it has multiplayer. I'm pretty sure it has multiplayer.
Yeah, it's got
Does.
Yeah. It's neat. It's a cool game, and I think this might be, I don't know, like it might solve a lot of those co-op problems that I had with Animal Crossing, where I felt like the whole thing that I'd want to do is like, I don't want to just go and do a tour if I'm going to visit somebody or hang out with my friend. Like, I want to be able to help them terraform or build stuff up, or like even have a shared island with somebody where it's like, hey, I'm putting in the work while you're not playing, and I've got all these materials for us. I'm gonna that's how I would want to play that. And like, to the fact that like I couldn't even pick stuff up on my island when people would visit it in Animal Crossing was real shitty.
Yeah, I mean, Animal Crossing, it certainly was built on a history of, if there is any sort of connection to other people, it is as a museum tour, as a guided tour of what somebody's thing is. Like, before New Horizons, new Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS, you wouldn't even go to other people's places. You would, you could. I take that back. You could do that, but you could, with the Street Pass thing, you could just get copies of their houses that would be in a separate section where it just was lines and lines of people you'd passed, and just you could go in and look at their house, see how they built it up, and then buy things from the catalog of, oh, that person has this style bench, I like that, I want that for my own place, and you could buy that. So, but that was the whole thing. It wasn't so much, hey, we're going to come in here and do things together. It was, I want to see how you built this thing, and that was the interest to it. So I think that's where Horizons is coming from. That it's slowly getting to the point of something that Dinkum is starting with this idea of that collaboration. I mean, the way you talk about it sounds a lot like the conversations you guys were having about Valheim really early, where this is our shared thing. Mm-hmm. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing, but we're coming together and pooling those resources and building stuff together in that way.
I mean, I am digging it. Like, I don't love, as I mentioned, I don't love the art design. It kind of falls into just, and we'll talk about, there's a game we're going to talk about in our preview, but I'm just not a big fan of like rehashing the like 64 and PS1 era graphics. Like, I know Valheim did that to a degree. This one's not necessarily that. There's just a very strange texture to everything in the game. And it doesn't match that polish that like I expected from like an Animal Crossing type game. But again, like, this is being made by one dude, not Nintendo. So what they've made here is really impressive. If you are a fan of crafting games, slice of life games, wholesome games as they call them, this is absolutely one of those. I could easily see a Monday night with Chase and I playing this. Like, I could easily see that being something that we would do on stream. It's a very cool concept. It does the Stardew stuff really well. There is a little bit more combat in this than there is in especially an Animal Crossing, where like you could be attacked.
You fight some of those wasps, man. Those wasps are dead.
Hey, yeah. The bugs aren't the problem here as much as the alligator trying to eat you.
I mean, it is Australia, so
Yeah.
Well, wait, if it's Australia, I think it would be a crocodile. But yes, point taken.
It is a crocodile. It is a crocodile. And then there's an emu. I've ran into a couple emus. There's a lot of kangaroos that are cool. There's a lot of wild
Those
dogs.
things are fucked up. You don't want to
Um,
get on the wrong side of an emu.
but not that this matters too much to everybody, but like I've started to use Steam reviews as a pretty good source of truth for like where I fall with games. And this one's at an overwhelmingly positive, which is not the easiest thing
I
to
mean,
get there.
Steam reviews are historically the most bulletproof reviews you can get. Nobody's ever messed with them before. But I think in this case,
you have to put
especially
in
when they're
a
positive.
certain amount of time to even put a review on Steam compared to some of these other places that you can just go in and shit over things if you don't like the politics of it.
Absolutely.
And-
But certainly Steam reviews have also gotten shit all over from people as well.
I'm not saying that they're
To the point where
safe haven.
Steam and Valve have had to tighten those things up to make.
I'm saying that
reviews
for me, I have been using Steam reviews as a source of truth based off of how they make people play the game to actually review it and do things there.
You mean you're actually reading the reviews and not just looking at the score that's given at the top of the page?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
No, that's fair. And I'm being shitty, purposely shitty, obviously. But
What?
I know. It comes as a surprise. Yeah, Bobby's having to clear out his ears. He's like, I can't believe what I'm hearing.
They all can't
impossible.
be Waypoint, Chase. They all can't be
I
Waypoint.
haven't listened to a Waypoint podcast in quite a long time.
But yeah, that's Dinkum. It's cool. I think you should play it. $20, I think. Yeah, $20.
Flicka.
Dinka Flicka. Early access, and they just released a roadmap too. So there's a pretty big roadmap out there if you want to follow up on what's going on with it. But pretty cool time.
Nice.
Let's continue the trend
Alright.
of playing new things.
Yeah. 2017's hottest game.
Ooh. You're Automata?
Close. So Divinity Original Sin 2 is a game that I've had perpetually installed, and I've started and I've stopped, and I don't know what it was that prevented me from really getting into it, but I played 10-15 hours of the first game and liked it a whole bunch, and then I bought the second game when it came out, and I never made it out of the area that you start in after the opening sequence of the game, and I could never really discern the reason why, because it has so many elements of things that I love in a game. It has good writing. It is it's all about player choice, and you're getting to like a Bethesda game. You can pick up anything that isn't nailed down. Has a great sense of humor, and I don't know, it never happened for me. And I sincerely mean this. It's been installed on my computer since I built my computer, pretty much. I think I got rid of it relatively recently on here because I needed to free up some hard drive space, but it's always a game, those games that I need to play this.
I have many of those games.
I'm going to make the time to do this, and then for whatever reason, I know exactly why, because I was looking at all the games in my library that say great on deck, and I saw Divinity Original Sin 2, and I was like, deck verified. They just put out an update that makes it fully supported by the Steam Deck. Yeah, what the hell? And last week I fired it up, and it's basically, other than a few rounds of Into the Breach and Vampire Survivors, it's been basically all I've played.
I know I've been seeing, I have not used Steam for a while until the Steam Deck came, so I'm not used to seeing these notifications, but I now see a lot of Johnny is playing Divinity Original Sin 2, and I just go, yeah, I bet he is. that makes sense. That all tracks.
So it's I made it out of Fort Joy, which is the place where you start the game, and you have this item on your character called a source collar that prevents you from using the magic system in the game. And your whole first objective is to escape Fort Joy and get your source collar removed. And I had never made it out of Fort Joy. I probably put...
Who
You
does?
don't want to leave Fort Joy. It sounds great.
It's a great name, right? But I started this game like 3 or 4 times. I started on the Xbox. I started on PC a couple times. And I just, for whatever reason, could never find the motivation or whatever to do what I needed to do to get away from Fort Joy. And
Were you always like building new characters or trying new builds when you did that, or would you kinda stick with the same
I'd pick a new character. This time I did pick up where I left off from the last time I played it. So I'm playing as one of the people. There are set characters, or you can make your own custom character. And all the set characters have their own unique backstories and
Isn't there a
motivation.
skeleton man?
Mm-hmm.
Who's one of
Yep, there's
them?
an undead guy. He's cool. And there's a dwarf and an elf, and all the characters you'd expect in a high fantasy game like this. And so I got out of Fort Joy and I got out into this larger world, which is it's an island that you're on, and I started really. I think I'm falling in love with this game. It's doing.
Nice.
It's a weird transition from the strategy game bent I was on the last few weeks. But it's tickling that part of my brain that I get.
It's also strategic, right? Can't you freeze time at any point? And
Yep.
It's all turn-based combat, so it's like Dragon Age Origins in that way, or like a D&D. Like it's based on D&D. And yeah, like there's oil barrels and acid and poison and water, and there's all of these interactive elements whenever you're in combat that you can use your abilities or your spells to give you the upper hand against enemies. And you can you have every piece of armor that you can configure. There's spell books, there's lock picking and pickpocketing, all the things that you expect from a very free RPG like this. And I don't know, I'm completely taken with it. We'll see if I'll actually finish it, because this is a very long game. It's like 100 hours.
how long do you think you've put into it so far?
I think I put another 20 into it, because I was at like 10 hours last week when I started. And Steve
The old
says
Xenoblade try is what we call that here around the casual parts.
yes. And I'm up to 30 hours now on my Steam count. So, love the characters. I'm playing it on Explorer mode, because I am just terrible at the combat, or it's just really hard. Because I'm playing, it's the second to easiest difficulty, and I'm still getting like 1 or 2 characters killed sometimes if I'm fighting an enemy that's a level or so above me. But really enjoying the interpersonal things that are happening between your characters, because it's a thing like, oh, so and so didn't like that you said this, and having to balance your choices. And there's unique dialogue options for each character, or you can have a character that can speak to animals, which opens up some unique options. So there was an area, like as I was escaping Fort Joy, there were these fire slugs in this cave underneath Fort Joy. And
No talkative bunch.
well, the first time I went through there, they just completely obliterated my party. And then I remembered that my dwarf guy has this skill, and so I switched to him, because you can switch to control any of your 4 party members, and you can even split off, like if you want to have them to go do something on their own, like sneaking, something like that. And I talked to the head slug and found out that it was actually a princess that had been transformed by an evil sorcerer. And
As they normally are.
yeah,
Sure.
and they just let me go. Like they just let me walk through. And I love that kind of stuff in these games. It subverts your expectations, and you never know how a situation is going to play out. And
It's like does like a quest come from that to go do something to help her turn back, or
I don't
it's just,
remember.
oh, by the way, I'm a princess anyway. You guys can get
She
out
mentioned
of here.
she mentioned some sorcerer that had changed, and I there's probably like entry in my journal or something that I haven't looked back at.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I was just wondering if she'd be like, "Nah, I'm a slug. I've gotten used to it. Don't worry about it."
I think because it is the starting area of the game,
kids.
like, you're not coming back here once you're done.
Yeah.
And I found a village of pigs that were all on fire.
You found your people.
I did.
Sounds like barbecue to me.
And I didn't end up going back and helping them
Delicious.
but you get a spell eventually that you can use to cure them of this fire, and it's just lots of little things like that.
You need a spell to cure somebody from being on fire?
It was a magical fire, so you needed
naturally.
Okay.
Yeah, because I tried using my teleport spell to teleport it over to some water, and it just was swimming while it was still on fire. So
yeah, that's
the
good.
game's good. It's really good.
It's very funny.
That's funny, man. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and let's see if it sticks. There's certainly nothing coming out over the next several weeks that might pull you from it.
There's nothing that would
Not at all.
Well, I guess this is the point where we hand it back over to you, Chase, as we get ready to talk about more video games.
Yeah. So this is one of our monthly preview episodes where we're going to run down the games of August. But before we get into that, we always have to look back at the month that was. And that month is July, which we're still in for a few more days. And in fact, it's making kind of a mockery of some of our choices here because a couple of the games that were on our picks list for this last month of July, they still haven't come out yet. We got a couple big releases still coming out on the 29th. But let's just go through our list here. On my picks, I had Stray, Live Alive, and Digimon Survive. Digimon Survive is one of those July 29th games, so I don't know about that one. Wish I could pre-order it. Just no way to do that digitally. Wonder if there's a way to...
But probably not. I mean, I'm sure...
Hang on, Chase. We're losing your audio.
Yeah. Oh, you are? That's a shame.
John, can you hear him, Johnny?
Yeah, it got all super loud.
I think you're good now, though.
Okay. Do you want me to... When did it happen? Do I need to say my picks again?
No, keep
I was
going.
just talking about Digimon and...
Yeah, we got... You said
Digimon
Digimon needs to be digital available.
Yeah. The digital monster game should be digital. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Anyway. Live Alive, I think that game looks really cool. I would like to play it.
It's getting really good reviews.
And then Stray, I know Bobby was talking about that earlier, and that seems really cool. The problem is I haven't played any of these games because a thing happened, and it's called I got a Steam Deck, which meant all of these other games could fuck right off because Daddy's over here playing his Forza finally, which he's been wanting to play for a long time.
I didn't mention it earlier, but just so you know, like I can help you set it up. I did find there's a client that's already built into the Steam Deck that you just authenticate with like an IP address from your PlayStation, but it becomes PS Remote Play. And so I checked that out and was able to. It works really well. I checked a little bit of Stray out on the deck that way, and it was great.
Yeah.
Okay, I might be up for that. I'm really the only thing I'm playing on my PlayStation.
Hey Chase, hang on. It just did that thing again.
I feel like it's only doing it when I talk about games that you hate.
I don't know if that's the case, but
Do you want me to?
It's like you get really loud and then it cuts out.
I always.
Do you want me to like leave the call and come back?
I don't know what's causing it. It's doing it right now. Yeah, maybe leave the call and come back. We'll wait for you for a second.
Okay.
Johnny, I see he's coming back from technical issues. You've got Stray downloaded.
I did. I've played for about 45 minutes or so. I need to wrap that up here soon because I know it's not a super long experience. And then I had Digimon Survive, and then I wrote fuck it, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which I don't know. I'm probably not going to pick that up, at least not right away.
I had Bear and Breakfast, which comes out at the time of this recording. It comes out in about 36 minutes, apparently, or at least that's when the 28th is. Stray, I like that game. I've beat that game. And then I put down Live Alive and Xenoblade, which I'm probably not going to get either one of those, but I think they seem neat.
Yeah,
Chase,
Xenoblade getting lots of really good reviews.
back to you, man.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Hi, Chase.
Do I sound okay?
You do.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. It sounds like Bobby ran down his picks for the month. And Johnny, you also had Stray.
Johnny went through his too.
I did.
Fuck me then. Well, sounds like you guys got it handled then. Let's move on to some of the free stuff you can get on this next month of August. Problem is, we're still a little ways to August, so we don't know what the Xbox Games with Gold games are yet. They haven't been announced. The PlayStation ones got leaked, so we do know them. And then Bobby's got a little Game Pass stuff that he can talk about here in a second. For PlayStation Plus, this is if you have the Essential package, which is the basic PS Plus.
OG PS Plus.
Yes, exactly. It's for PS Plus.
You're cutting out again.
Yeah,
Chase.
it's not working,
Unfortunately.
Chase.
Fuck me. Here, I can leave. I can switch to a different.
Be back.
Okay. Johnny, while we're talking about
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus, you upgraded, and
Mhm.
right? You did that?
It did. Yeah, it was like $22 to get
Yeah.
it the mid tier, I think, for
You're so
till
mid.
February. It's
I
straight cap.
did
Bussy.
I did that one too. I did I think like $21. That got me the middle tier one. And I think that will get us extra new games each month on top of the essentials,
Mhm.
right?
But if we go back down, are those still in our library?
I don't know how they authenticate that. Like I know, so here's what I know. My cousin, who I do game share with, is able to play Stray, and he does not have this plan. So that tells me that that's like a game.
But
in
that's
my
also yeah. But I'm saying if like once you lapse back down to regular PS Plus,
yes.
do those PS extra games go away? I'm sure that they've clarified that
Yeah, I'm sure.
at some point.
I mean,
but-
like if I stop doing Game Pass, I no longer have those games. Chase, welcome back.
Yeah. Hi, I've got AirPods in now. It probably sounds a little bit worse, but hopefully a little bit more consistent.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, did you guys run down all the other games?
No, we were just talking about the PlayStation Plus Essential upgrade that we did. So we didn't talk about any
Okay.
of those. We were waiting on you.
Cool. So yeah, Yakuza Like a Dragon has a PS4 and a PS5 version. I feel like I should go back to that game. That game was kind of good,
It's all right.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Also, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. That's also a PS5 and PS4 version. That game's pretty good. It'd be really nice if we got a 3 and 4, but
Shit's dead.
yeah,
Going out for Vicarious Visions.
too bad. And then Little Nightmares for the PS4, which is a kind of a 2.5D horror-y, platformy, puzzly game. It's kind of neat. I think that's a Bandai Namco joint.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game seems cool. I think they made a sequel. Is the sequel out, or are they just making
It
a
is.
sequel?
There's a sequel out, and there's a
Okay.
mobile version. That's its own game. It's not a port, but they've
Oh,
made
really?
a
Okay.
they've made a mobile version of Little Nightmares that I think is called like Littler Nightmares or something like that. But
Okay.
there is a version for mobile as well.
Nice. I seem to remember like that game kind of blew up in a cool way for what seemed it seems like an indie game. I mean, yes, it's being published by Bandai
Very
Namco, but it is.
Little Nightmares. Apologies.
Okay, that makes some sense. Again, like I said, Xbox Games with Gold, we just don't know yet. And then, Bobby, you want to handle what we're getting for Game Pass here?
For sure. More can come out, but there has been 4 games confirmed, which I believe are all day one releases, which we'll talk about more in depth here. But Turbo Golf Racing comes out August 4th. 2 Point Campus comes out August 9th. Midnight Fight Express comes out August 23rd, and Immortality comes out on August 30th. I did not see, because again, as Chase mentioned, kind of early at the time of recording, what might be leaving Game Pass. And again, more stuff might come later on, but that's what we got so far.
Sounds good. All right, then it's time to get into the monthly releases for August, and we will start with August 2nd, where we're getting the game Frog Gun, which is coming out to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is a pretty delightful looking platformer. It does have that PS1, Nintendo 64 kind of low poly look that Bobby hates. Hates it like a Switch.
I don't like it, man. I do not think that is a style that we need to bring back.
Yeah, it's a certain nostalgia that I don't think we appreciate as much as maybe some kids who were, I don't know, five years younger than us would probably like a lot more. It is a weird look for sure. Let's see. But yeah, I remember we saw this at the Wholesome Direct. I think it got shown there. And I don't know. I think it looks kind of cool. It just, I mean, I don't love the way it looks, but it looks like mechanically it plays pretty well.
Yeah.
And that's kind of neat.
For sure.
On the 3rd, we are getting South of the Circle for PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is an adventure game. It takes place in the Arctic or Antarctic. I couldn't quite tell. I mean, it does say South of the Circle. I think that's south of the Arctic Circle, right? Is there an Antarctic Circle? I know there's an Arctic Circle.
I don't know.
But if you're south of the Circle, wouldn't that be? I don't know. I don't know enough about this to say it. But I think it's got a cool look. It looks like it's very like motion captured, and it also seems like it's going for a very prestige TV look and feel to what it's doing there. Seems kind of neat. I would like to see more of this game and understand what it's going for.
Yeah, I think the look of it is cool. It reminds me a little bit just of what I'm seeing here. The Long Dark, and maybe that's just like being set in the. It's definitely not a survival game, from what I can tell here. But I think similar setting potentially.
Setting a little bit style, yeah. Next is Hard West, coming out August 4th. This is just for PC. This is a turn-based tactics Old West game. And I think it looks like it has a couple fun mechanics. Some stuff where you're just bouncing ricocheting bullets off of things to hit people. It seems like it gets into some kind of fun, weird scenarios. And the thing that I really like, they show, I think it's closer to the end of this trailer, but you get like a poker hand, and that poker hand relates to some like party-wide buffs that you get. So depending on, I think they showed you have 2 pair, and those pairs of cards that you have are making stronger abilities, and you have 2 of those pairs, so they do, they combine in a different way. I just think that seems like a really cool idea for a mechanic and a way to build buffs. I like
nuts,
games
man.
that you
this
can tinker
looks
with that.
So much like Evil West.
Weird West.
I'm sorry. Weird West.
Yeah. No, it totally does. You're right.
Similar kind of
It's
vibe.
definitely aping a lot of that. But I was just really impressed with that.
So it might be the other way around too. Like maybe they just ripped off of this. I think this game looks rad as hell.
Yeah. I thought it looked pretty cool. Next up is a game that we are all at least somewhat familiar with, and that is Papers, Please, which is coming out August 5th for iOS and Android. Papers, Please finally getting a mobile version.
Yeah. 9 years later.
Yeah, I think the video we're seeing here is not of the mobile version. It's just showing you Papers, Please. But yeah, that's cool. I was a little worried when I saw this that, oh, is this yet another Netflix deal? Is this another Point B? Is this another Into the Breach And it's not. The game's just coming to iOS and Android. There you go. It's
Have they
Papers,
said how much
Please.
it costs yet?
I don't think they have. I can't imagine it would be very expensive, but Papers, Please is good. People should play Papers, Please. Please play Papers, Please. That would be, say that 5 times fast.
Yes.
Next, August 8th, we're getting Tyrant's Blessing for PC and Switch. Bobby, I know you originally showed me this game. I think, based on our conversations earlier, this looks like a ripoff of Into the Breach. Maybe not an homage.
I don't know, man. Like, this is Dancing Dragons. This is the same people who made Symphony of War. And
Okay.
I think that they did a really nice job of, in my opinion, honoring some of the things that make Fire Emblem and Advance Wars really great. Ogre Battle, all that stuff. But, I mean, perhaps, there's obviously, we've talked about this on our show, like, why play this when you already have this? And this could end up being very much a ripoff. I don't know.
It looks a lot like Into the Breach.
I would probably be way more excited for this game if a certain other game hadn't just gotten an update that kind of stealth came out. It seems just it seems like it's got some really unfortunate timing.
Yeah,
but yeah, it looks solid.
It looks good.
I like these mechanics look like the mechanics of the thing I like. The problem is the thing I like has new stuff, so I'll just play the thing I like. But yeah, that might be something to look at a little closer and see if it really does have more. Because knowing that pedigree, knowing that Symphony of War is trying to do some things that Fire Emblem doesn't do, or that Advance Wars doesn't do, even with my issues with Symphony of War, I still think it's pretty cool. So it's probably worth a look. On the 9th, Bobby mentioned it as part of Game Pass, 2 Point Campus, the sequel to 2018's 2 Point Hospital, is coming to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Anybody here play 2 Point Hospital?
No.
Negative.
I feel like this would be like a Johnny game. Maybe.
Yeah. I could see that. I don't think it's a Chase or Bobby game, but I think it could be a Johnny game. That makes some sense to me. It looks all right. I mean, this doesn't. I don't think this shows any gameplay in this trailer, but the gameplay is going to look a lot like 2 Point Hospital, that kind of isometric top down view where you're placing things, Sims kind of style, but maybe with a little bit more silliness to it.
Yeah, because you're building out a campus here, where the last one you were building out a hotel, right? Or a hospital.
Yeah. But you're like putting in the machines, you're doing things. But this trailer makes it look like you're gonna do some weird things, like you're building mech robots and doing.
Yeah, I think
Quidditch ripoffs.
Hospital had a goofy, like similar kind of vibe.
They added Sonic the Hedgehog to 2 Point Hospital
at
one point. I remember that happening. I remember that being a thing. Of course, it's great. Sir, what? You seem to be a hedgehog. Are you okay? Do you need a hospital bed?
We need the blue blur stat.
Yes, chili dogs on the double. Bring them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm sure this is going to be silly fun. I know 2 Point Hospital blew way the hell up, so I can only imagine that 2 Point Campus is probably going to get a similar treatment.
Nice.
On the 10th, Lost in Play is coming out to PC and Switch. This is an adventure game that I think has a really nice cartoony look to it that kind of reminds me of not quite like a Steven Universe, but like trying to think of other shows that I'm like it's got like a Cartoon Network look to it. What am I
played the demo.
Specific one I'm thinking of. Oh, you did? Okay,
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
I'll shut up and you can tell me about it.
Yeah, it's all right. I think it's a lot more spectacle than it is substance, at least that I got from the time I played with the demo, and it could be an early build. I adore how this looks, and I think it's going to be pretty easy breezy from what I was picking up on it, and that might not be a bad thing. but it has a ton of heart, and it is just, it did not feel like a video game, and I say that in the nicest way. Like, it felt like I was watching something or experiencing something. Like, it's just got a detail and a polish to it that I think is really hard to ignore.
I love the style.
Yeah.
And that's something you probably really only get with adventure games because they are so scripted in the way that they function. So you can make them look a lot better. It makes me think a lot of Broken Age, the Double Fine game. Yeah,
for sure.
Johnny, do you have anything else to say before we move on?
I don't know if maybe one of you said it and I missed it, but 2 Point Campus is a Game Pass day one.
Yeah.
I said that whenever we were going over the Game Pass stuff earlier, and then I think Chase called it out just there.
Good to know, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the 11th, Cult of the Lamb is coming to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Bobby, I know you've been pretty hyped for Cult of the Lamb. You want to tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I played this demo. This is that Devolver joint coming out, and it is a roguelike on one hand, and then it is a base builder, crafting, and resource management game on the other. And it's really got a cool loop to it where you are going through gathering certain things and skills when you're doing your runs, and you're going to be recruiting people back to your cult, and they're going to bring personality and elements back to what you're building out. But it's got a really snappy and very tight combat that you can get upgrades and skills and magic, but then you'll come back and your flock, as they call it, you will be chopping down trees and building out all kinds of crazy shit. It is very much a game that I was very curious when they announced it at E3 a couple years back, and after playing that demo, it is very high on my most anticipated next month to check out. I had a great time with it.
Yeah.
Some bullet hellish stuff happening on screen too that I'm into.
Mm-hmm.
You can pre-order
some
this.
Binding
right
of
now.
Isaac vibes too.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Maybe just like content and a little bit of the look, kind of flashy look to it. Pretty cool. Also on the 11th is Rumbleverse, coming to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is being made by Iron Galaxies, who the professional shitbag Dave Lang is the head of. This is that wrestling themed battle royale brawler looking game. I still kind of have a staunch stance against battle royale games, but I've enjoyed the wrestling in the past. I think there's some. It does seem like they are taking the right notes to pull in the things that make this feel like wrestling without the baggage and bullshit that you get from WWE's yearly releases. And I think in that instance, this seems kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm curious.
You guys have any interest in that?
Maybe. I don't have the patience anymore to really commit to building a skill up to enjoy one of these games. And the thing with a battle royale game, at least in my opinion, is that they're not you can jump into it and have a decent enough time, but given just the overall nature of the elimination, it's one of those things where, like, if I was playing a traditional, like a Halo, I might be getting mowed over, but I can still hop back in and spend the duration of that event getting better. And I think on these games, it's all about sometimes like luck on what you're finding, but also you don't have as much long-term opportunity to build skill and muscle memory because you're starting over and falling in and waiting for the next match and doing all that. So it's not my favorite type of genre, but I'm definitely the odd man out, as this has become like the standard on how you make, like, it's what is successful. If you're making a multiplayer game, PvP especially, like it's probably going to need to be a battle royale.
And it's free to play, so I'll check it out.
On the 12th is Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered coming to the PC. I know that you both have enjoyed the original Marvel Spider-Man on the PlayStation. Do you guys have any interest to go back to it on the PC?
No, because I have the remastered version on my PS5, which looks very nice. I think it's awesome that it's coming to PC. I was reading some of the additions they've made, like as ultra widescreen support. It's gonna absolutely look incredible on PC and sell gangbusters, I'm sure.
How do the puddles look? Puddles,
You know,
Ray trace now.
Thanks to
cool.
being on a real system,
Yes.
you can have as many puddles as you want. I can't wait for the puddle mods to come.
Great, man.
There's gonna be
Can't wait.
There's gonna be a mod that just turns Manhattan into one big puddle, and
There you go.
and it's actually gonna be accurate because in 20 years the whole city's gonna be underwater.
I would bet that this has
change.
It has the potential to be one of the best looking games with all the DLSS stuff, with the ray tracing. I think the action of this game, and knowing that you're going to be going past a lot of like skyscrapers and lights, like I could see this looking absolutely fantastic.
It's one I could see picking up on a sale, and after maybe like a good amount of mods have come out for it, because I can only imagine the shenanigans that the modders are going to get up to with this game once it's out.
If this was this would not be the remaster or remake I pick up from Sony this year on PC if I was going to pick something up from them.
All right.
And Miles Morales is also coming at some point this year. So
is it this year? They said for sure.
Yep.
Oh. I would play Miles Morales over this one.
Yeah.
Bobby, are we actually skipping this next one, or are we going to show it?
It's up to you.
Let's show it. It's a roguelike deck builder. We love those here at the Casual Hour. It's a game called Super Bullet Break. It's coming to PC, Switch, and PS4. You're seeing it on your screen. It's
Big Chase Energy.
Oh, come on. Give me a little credit.
I think this might be one of the worst looking games we've ever showcased for a monthly preview.
I'm sure we've shown something worse, but you're right. In the moment, it's hard to say. I mean, it is a roguelike deck builder. That's probably the only good thing I can say. This looks
real bad.
Yeah.
I just wanted to troll Bobby a little bit there. Let's move on to a game that actually looked really cool, and that is Roller Drome, that's coming on August 13th for PC, PS4, and PS5. This is from the developer Roll7, who we know as the dev of Ollie Ollie, and specifically Ollie Ollie World that Bobby was really high on lately. This was shown off at Sony's last State of Play. It's this roller derby shooter game that looks like it's half Tony Hawk and half third-person shooter.
My Friend Pedro.
Yeah, there's definitely some My Friend Pedro energy to this of, doing some stunty stuff while also killing bad guys. Just think it looks like it could be a heck of a lot of fun. And because Roll7's behind it, it's probably going to play pretty sharply.
Is it only PvP or is it PvE stuff too?
I think it's PvE. I think there's
like a story mode to it.
Like,
maybe
look at that big mech thing. There's that's not being controlled by a player. That's got to be controlled by a computer, right?
I don't know.
I think this game has a campaign mode to it. Yes, or some kind of.
It looks really fucking good.
Mode. Yeah, I mean, I remember being a little disappointed the very first time I saw it because I thought it was going to be Sable coming to PlayStation because it just has a similar art style. But then they actually get into what the game is, and they're like, this also looks good.
It is single player.
Oh,
single player only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
interesting.
Cool. I mean, that probably makes sense. There's a lot of slow down stuff when you're guns that probably wouldn't work as well in a multiplayer setting. Games have done it before, but it probably makes sense to have single player only. Let's move on to the 18th and get Cursed to Golf, which is coming to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is a golf roguelike. and it sounds like something I'd be way into. Did we play?
We did play
Bobby,
it.
did we play like a Steam demo of this?
Yeah.
Like a Summerfest thing? Okay.
Yeah. I
What,
liked the demo. It was really,
Yeah?
it was cool. The demo ends with you getting cursed, and
Right.
there are some fun mechanics with it for sure. I think that this would be a really fun game to play on the deck.
Yeah. Oh, I bet so. I need to be a little bit more sold on it before I pick it up. But I mean, if you had fun with the demo, I would love to see this on a Monday show sometime.
Yeah, I don't think it made my breakdown just based off of how many games I did not want to put on here for a month, but I will keep an eye on it for sure.
Okay. Also on the 18th is RPG Time, The Legend of Wright, which is coming to Switch and PS4. This is an RPG adventure game, super handcrafted, super busy, just like really dense with stuff because it's going for like a kid's notebook style to it.
Yeah, there's a lot happening here.
Yeah, it's it seems interesting. I kind of want to know if it plays well because it just looks like there's a ton of stuff, and it looks really neat. I just want to make sure all that stuff works before I really jump into something like this. But I remember seeing the trailer and going, "Wow, that you really threw a lot of things into this game."
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
it's
taken a lot of different ideas and putting them together. A lot of stuff drawn on paper, a lot of stuff like little models and things, cut out stuff, little devices. It looks like there's a lot of different styles of gameplay in here. They're throwing the kitchen sink at this, and you know, God love them. Maybe it'll be really cool. Looking forward to it.
Nice.
And then also on the 18th, I believe it would be pronounced Thymesia, Thymesia. This is for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. This is for next-gen consoles only, which you don't see very often these days.
Looks like for Johnny only.
That's true. That's true. I mean, it's visually impressive for sure, but this is absolutely some Souls shit. Johnny, as the Souls man of the Casual Hour, what are you thinking when you see this?
I think this looks like a Souls.
Hard-hitting journalism from Johnny.
Sorry, this is the first I'm seeing it. I'm trying to watch this.
Fair enough.
It looks cool. I mean, I tried Mortal Shell. I tried a number of the 2D Souls likes, and like nothing yet has quite given me the same fix that
kind of like me with Fire Emblem, right? It's like playing these games, you go, oh, it's like that thing I love, and then you kind of go, why aren't I just playing the thing I love? I mean, you talked about it last episode when we were talking about Humankind versus playing Civ or Crusader Kings. But
I don't know.
The big flashy attacks look like that is kind of the point of difference from the Souls stuff that I see.
Yeah, I'm gonna wishlist this and just follow it once it launches. I don't know if I'll pick it up right when it comes out, but I mean, it's that style, it's that type of combat that I am into. So I will follow its career with great interest.
I mean, if anything, just knowing that it's only for the new consoles makes me interested just to see what people are saying about it. That it's not just something that is a slightly enhanced PS4 or Xbox One game. This was built for the new hardware from the ground up. So we shall see. Guys, good news. August 19th, video games are back. Like everything we've talked about before, that's just some bullshit. But now we're getting to the video games, and that means John Madden NFL 23. He's back, baby. You can't kill this Madden. Coming to PC. You can't kill this Madden. You can that guy. Right. That guy. Yeah. This is eternal. This is forever. PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. I love with my whole heart sports game trailers. They're just the best. This one specifically, there's a part like halfway through where they start talking about the difference between this game and last year's Madden. And there it is. It's so good. It's so good. We've got to turn the saturation down so you know that this game looks like shit. The one that came out last year. Fuck that game. It's terrible. You don't want that shit. You want the new stuff. It is all in high res, vibrant color because this game is the good one. I love it. No other game genre, franchise, series, whatever, does this with their trailers, and I love it. I'm just here for it. It's great. It's Madden. What do you want? What do you want from us? We are not the Madden guys here.
No.
It's the football. They brought back the football. There's more of the football.
Indeed.
All right, let's move on to the 23rd. Bobby mentioned this one is also coming to Game Pass. Midnight Fight Express for PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. This is the game. I can't. Where did we see this? Too. Was this? You did? Okay. But this was. When did we see this? Did we see this at Key 3?
Yeah, it was at Key 3, and it was at the Next Fest, or it was one of the demos from the Summer Game Fest as well.
Okay.
It was last year, right? That's when we got our first look at it.
I think so.
We didn't get first look. I just remember seeing at Key 3 this trailer. I found the exact trailer because I wanted this one. This trailer is so good. I love the phrase "from the stunt coordinator of God of War 2018."
Hell yeah!
And
the co-writer of Destiny
people.
2.
I mean, there's stunts
from the co-writer
kind of a weird thing
of Destiny 2: The Witch Queen.
I mean that is also kind of lame, but Destiny 2: The Witch Queen had a decent story. I'm okay with that. But I don't know what a stunt coordinator does exactly when they're models. Like they're not. I mean, I get that they're like choreographing things, but you're dealing with computers. They're not real stunts. It's just it's a weird thing to say for your game trailer. I understand what you mean. I get it. It's just a weird thing to say. Anyway, I think this game looks good. I think this game looks great. Bobby, you said you played a little bit of it. Does it play great too?
It does. It plays really well. They, of course, make you learn a lot of hand-to-hand stuff first, and then they start to introduce a few weapons. But it's got a really good flow to it, and it's not like a one-hit. Like you actually, and it's not Sifu either.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, like it's definitely more arcade than it is punitive. I mean, there's a challenge to it. Like I think it lives somewhere between like a Hotline Miami and a Sifu is probably where you'll find this on the spectrum.
Nice. I mean, even if it's just like here's your kind of John Wick simulator, that sounds pretty good to me. Yeah. I'd take that.
Yeah, it was fun.
Let's move on. Also on the 23rd, Saints Row. Coming to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Yeah, Saints Row.
Completely forgot that was coming out this year, and I just watched some preview coverage of it.
Yeah, when I saw this on the list, I was like, "There's no way that comes out in August." They haven't shown enough of it. Like they just showed it.
They just had a bunch of press for it last week.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I liked the part of Saints Row 3, Saints Row the Third that I played, and then I didn't play another Saints Row game, and kind of don't feel the need to.
I loved Saints Row 3. I finished that game. I played a good amount of Saints Row 4 when they gave you superpowers.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I don't think, where can they go from here?
Yeah.
Doesn't
Saints Row 4 have... Go ahead, Bobby.
This is them kind of like wiping the slate clean.
Yeah, it's a reboot.
Well, when you say them, it's not the original developer. This game has been embraced, right? This is part of the Embracer Group version, or is this?
I watched YouTuber SkillUp's preview coverage, and he said from the 4 hours he played, like it didn't feel like it was trying. It felt like it could have come out in 2010.
Oh God!
In terms of like open world sensibilities.
Okay.
And he said he didn't have a bad time with it. It's just it was weird to have a game like this coming out now. In
I think I'm okay with 2010's feeling game or 2010's mechanics. I don't want 2010's humor and story, especially not from a Saints Row. Everything they've shown for this, from a reboot standpoint, seems like, I'm not going to say it's more mature, but maybe just less childish than the previous Saints Row games have been.
You might not have a dildo bat.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Or if you do, maybe it's buried pretty deep into the game. It's not. Sorry, that's a weird phrasing of that. That's on me. That's on me. Let's move on, shall we?
Yes.
Let's move on to August 25th to SD Gundam Battle Alliance.
Shall we? Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on to one of the cooler. It's a game that I'm into for sure.
You will not like this game.
I bet I will begrudgingly like this game. It's not the game that I want. I want a turn-based strategy game, but it's the game I'm getting, and I still think it looks pretty cool. SD Gundam Battle Alliance comes to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. It is a three-man squad action RPG. It does have full co-op, so you can bring in your friends to flank you, or you can just bring in computer-controlled players. You are going through the different Gundam universes and fixing the timelines that there will be machines there that don't belong there. Yeah, basically. It's the Gundam multiverse. You're just going in to fix the timelines and to make sure things go back and happen the way they were supposed to happen. It looks kind of flashy. I want to try this. I'm a little bit nervous because again, it's not the SD Gundam turn-based games that I'm way into, but I kind of like what I see. I'm up for trying it, and Bobby has said that he's going to try this game as well. I'm probably getting it on the Switch, which I think will break Bobby's heart even more. That if he did want to play with me, he'd have to get the Switch version. But
they don't
maybe
have
he'll
crossplay?
do it for me. I have no idea about crossplay. Maybe.
Why?
Can't say.
Why would you get the Switch version when you have the Steam Deck?
Because I just like the form factor of the Switch. I like playing it. I like playing with the Pro controller.
Well, I guess I don't have a reason to get it now.
I mean, if that's the way you feel about it, I guess that's okay. But
I've only been waiting to play Tintin with you. See how that feels?
Feels great, man. Let's move on to the 26th for Soul Hackers 2, coming to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is a Shin Megami Tensei game, even though they're not throwing the SMT anywhere in the title. I haven't played a non-Persona SMT game. I mean, I played Tokyo Mirage Sessions, but that almost doesn't count. I'm kind of interested. It looks good. It looks nice. I like these character models. I like the kind of flare style stuff that's going through the menus. Very Persona 5, but computery.
It's got.
What do you guys think about this?
I think it looks cool. I don't know if it will have the charm that I think Persona has, and I don't know if if this is enough of that to make me be like, I can look past that stuff, and maybe it's really cool. Like it looks like it's trying to crib on some cyberpunk elements here. That might be all right, but I still really ended up enjoying my party more than most things when I played Persona 5, and
Yeah,
I
think that's
haven't
fair, and I think you're kind of supposed to.
I haven't played Royal. That's coming out a few months after this, and maybe I'll scratch my itch with that.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of good SMT games that I could go play as well. I have SMT4 on my 3DS and just never booted it up. There's plenty of stuff out there that I could play, but for some reason, maybe it's just because it's the new hotness. I kind of like what I'm seeing from Soul Hackers 2. So as long as I don't have to know anything from Soul Hackers 1, maybe that's something I'll check out. Moving on to the 30th, Immortality. This is another game that Bobby mentioned is coming to Game Pass. PC, Xbox Series X, iOS, and Android. This is the new game from Sam Barlow, the maker of Her Story and Telling Lies. You're kind of going through these different movies that this actress has been in, I believe, and you're kind of putting together clues based on the things you're seeing from these different movie scenes. Sounds like an interesting way to do another one of those kinds of games that Sam Barlow does. I didn't play Telling Lies, but I really, really like Her Story, so this might be one I check out as well.
Yeah, I'll check it. I mean, be on Game Pass for sure.
Yeah.
We can skip through this next one pretty quick. Also on the 30th, Inscription is coming to PlayStation, PS4, and PS5. We like Inscription here. That seems like an okay way to play it. I know that game gets into some meta stuff with actually using a PC. I wonder how that works exactly on a PlayStation on a controller setup. But Inscription's good. People should play Inscription.
Yes.
Then also on the 30th, I am not going to read all this stuff out, but we are getting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection. It's coming to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. It includes a ton of old TMNT games, Game Boy games, arcade games, original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis. It's got Turtles in Time. It's got TMNT, the arcade game, for both the arcade version and the NES version of the arcade game. It's got a couple of different versions of Tournament Fighters, the 2D fighting game. There's a lot of good stuff. Do you guys just? I know you played the new one, Shredder's Revenge, right?
I have deep nostalgia for the NES games.
Sure. Both of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I kind of really like that first game, even though I know it's bad.
Yeah.
And then 2 is just the arcade game.
How much is
which
this?
is I think it's
I don't see a price here on Steam.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know that. I would guess they would ask $40 for this. But I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised that any.
You are exactly correct.
Feel good about that. I mean, it's a lot of games.
Yeah.
I'm not counting them up right now, but it's a good amount of games. Even if some are kind of copied over, because we have the Genesis and the SNES version, we have the NES and the arcade version. But yeah, like those old Turtle games, pretty darn solid, and it's cool to have them all in one big package if you want that. A couple more here to go. Also on the 30th, Tinykin is coming out. That game just looks like Pikmin, and I'm all for it. It looks great. This looks good.
To it.
It's kind of got that same cartoony looking art style that what was the game we mentioned earlier that you played, Lost in Play?
Lost in Play, yeah.
It looks similar to that, but I like this world. I think I've mentioned this before, maybe when we talked about Skatebird or something, but I just like being a small thing in a normal sized world and navigating these kinds of things. And yeah, you pick up these Tinykins, which basically just function as Pikmin that you throw or stack or do plenty of things with. I think this thing looks really, really cool, and I would like to play it quite bad. I didn't put what systems it's coming for.
Doesn't
Pull
say
that up
here
real
either.
quick. At least just on the quick Google search, it says Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Windows, Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch. So everything. I think
Nice.
this game looks really, really good. And then on the 31st, we are getting Call of the Wild, The Angler, coming
Hell
to PC. Bobby, you're the one who brought this to my attention, so please tell us about this game.
Yeah, so I believe this is a spin-off from the Hunter Call of the Wild series that was out there.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I feel is really cool about this is that it is an open world co-op experience. And so you can have, I think, up to 10 of your friends all in an instance fishing and hanging out. And I think that sounds kind of cool, but I'm also a really big sucker for golf games, and golf and fishing require a lot of patience, but there's also a serenity to both of those, I think, and like a peacefulness to those that my parents live on a lake. I've grown up fishing. I rather enjoy fishing. When fishing games work, they work really well. And I always like to check out new fishing mechanics. And this seems to be a pretty intense fishing game that I might be dumb enough to try.
You know what? I might be dumb enough to join you, but I do like the idea when you said you like golfing and fishing games. There's got to be a way to combine those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you just you're hitting your lure, and then you your golf club is your fishing rod. There's got to be.
That's what's taking Sports Story so long. Is they're trying
Yeah,
That's
there
not a
you
real
go,
game.
right. Yeah.
Or ridiculously golf fishing.
Bobby, we should learn how to make games and make
baseball
our
game?
fishing, make our baseball game as well, our Persona baseball game, but also we should make our fishing golfing game. That sounds great.
Somebody just needs to hire us.
They should, just as the creative directors. We're certainly
Yep.
not going to code anything or draw any art, but we'll tell you what to do.
Hey,
It'll
if
be
Dan
great.
Riker can
Damn
be a creative director, we can be one.
Yeah. And then one last thing, it doesn't have a specific date yet, but they're targeting August, and that is Shin-Chan, Me and the Professor on Summer Vacation, The Endless 7-Day Journey. More like the endless title there. Hopefully that gets localized to be a bit shorter. It's coming to Switch and PS4. This is a localized version of the 2021 video game based on the long-running Crayon Shin-Chan manga and anime. It looks, when I looked at this trailer, I was like, this looks really good. And this also looks a lot like Attack of the Friday Monsters, just in the kind of summer vacation-y look to it. And there's a good reason for that. The developer of that game, Attack of the Friday Monsters, Millennium Kitchen, they're also making this game, and they're the ones who made the My Summer Vacation games as well. That did, I don't think any of those got translated over here, but I don't know anything about this manga or anime. I think it's more kid focused. I think it's pretty long running from what I know, but I just think this looks really pleasant in the same way that Bobby's talking about the Call of the Wild, the angler stuff. I think there's something about just being in this world that seems really nice, and I'm kind of into it. I cannot find anything. I cannot find any video of this that is translated. So all I have here is the Japanese trailer. But there are multiple sites that are saying yes, it's coming. It's coming sometime in August. So kind of be on the lookout for that because I think it looks cool. All right, guys, that is everything. I know we're running pretty late here, but let's get into some monthly picks. Johnny, why don't you start us off? What looks good to you for the month of August?
I've got Cult of the Lamb, Rollerdrome, and I'll check out that 2 Point Campus game probably once it hits Game
Nice.
Pass.
Cool. Bobby?
I have Cult of the Lamb, Call of the Wild, The Angler, Hard West 2, and Rollerdrome.
right. Well, I'll make it a clean sweep for Rollerdrome. I think that game also looks really good. SD Gundam Battle Alliance. I mean, obviously, I'm the Gundam guy, but I think that game looks pretty cool. And then Tinykin has really taken my heart. I think that thing looks really neat. I would like to give that a shot. But then, I also had I just think August has a bunch of really cool looking games. I think Midnight Fight Express looks really good. Soul Hackers 2 I was kind of talking about, and then that Shin-Chan game at the end. I think that could be pretty neat as well. I think it's a good month. It's a good month of games. Lots of cool stuff's happening. And then there's still big games coming out this month. I know Digimon Survive and Xenoblade Chronicles 3 are both coming out here real soon to finish July. There's just a lot of good gaming happening these days.
Enjoy your gaming.
So, yes. Drink your Zoa and enjoy your gaming.
Right on. Well, Chase, thank you as always for taking us through that. If you want to follow along with where you can see us talk more about those games, check out the chat or look at the show notes. This week, we've done quite a bit. Into the Breach, as Chase called out, we had a really great stream. We will continue that next Monday, where we will take on the next 2 islands, potentially. At least 1, maybe 2. We put up a quick look for Stray. We all seem to be very curious or really into that game. Tonight, we told you about the games that we are excited for in August. And if you want an even deeper look at the updates to Into the Breach, tune into youtube.com/casual hour on Thursday morning, where we'll have a quick look at that go up. And then I will be doing a solo stream this week on Friday. And I am going to dust off Bear and Breakfast for the first time. Hopefully won't have any dust on it at all, because that game just had just come out on the 28th. So
you played a bit of that for the summer.
I did check out the demo.
Next
I did
best.
check out the demo,
Yeah.
and I think that game is going to be pretty all right. So Bear and Breakfast gonna set up a nice little B&B on stream Friday night.
B&B.
B&B.
B&B with B.
Have you been recording anything for Chase Gay Plays or anything like that? Anything new there?
No, the answer is no. I am buying a house. Signed the papers today. I have a house, so I'm going to be moving a bunch of shit to a house for probably the next month or so. Slowly getting stuff over there and getting stuff set up. I don't think it'll affect any of our stream stuff here, but it does mean that I just don't have the free time to record other games to go up there. Once I am settled, though, I look forward to getting back to SteamWorld Heist and putting stuff out there, and then also getting back to Gamers on the Go, my handheld video game podcast, and more things will happen. It just might be a little delayed with all of the new house stuff that's happening.
Well, congratulations. And
thank you.
We are excited to see that journey for you. Chase, thanks again for putting this together. Johnny, anything from you that you want to update us on? Anything new and exciting?
No. I'll be in Indiana this weekend at the Lake Michigan.
Okay.
All right. So all of our Indiana fans, go shout out Johnny. He'll come. He'll buy you a beer.
No.
He will not do such a thing.
Wow, that's damn.
Maybe. Okay.
Rude.
Fine. Domestic
All right.
only.
Well, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for checking us out. And Chase, thanks again for putting the episode together. We will talk to you all soon.